3, 2, 1.
This is the Mac Media Show.
Welcome to the Mac Media Show, everyone. My name is Mac.
And I'm Ree.
And this is the Me and Ree Review Show. We are the two that review for you.
Yes, we are.
There it is. This is going to be a fun one. This is $1 Million Listing LA. I'm excited to talk about this. We're back to our roots.
Fun to be back. Fun to be back.
Started.
Yep.
And last year we talked to James and David, or last season rather. Interviewed both of them, talked to them. Great people, very interesting. We're going to talk more about that later in this episode. But man, what a good season premiere! And what did you think? Did you think it was good?
Thought it was awesome.
What were your favorite parts?
Awesome. I love the beginning where they talked about how much real estate they had sold last year.
Yeah.
They're talking about how booming LA is right now, that it's a seller's paradise.
Right.
Inventory is low and prices are high. And, a lot of international buyers. I loved all that background and love the fact that they said how much Altman did. Altman did the most last year, $300 million.
Right.
And then, Josh came in at, let's see, what did he say? $150 million, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Josh Flagg.
Yeah, and then James and David did $150 million. So all of them are planning on trying to double it this year. I thought it was interesting that Altman said he was going to do $1 million a day, which that's pretty rough. That's going to be
and
tough.
Speaking of a day, he promised this guy he was going to find him a house in
Yes.
one day.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, hey, why not try it, He tried it, and he finally got him to, settle down. He's going to buy it. He's going to get him something,
Yeah.
But I love their office. I noticed that the Altman brothers have joined Douglas Elliman now, which is
How
different
about
from last
that?
year. Yeah. And he walks in his office, and he says, "Turn on my sign. It says, I sell the dream." I love it. That was really good.
I love it.
That sounds like something Luis would need.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Turn
I
my
sell the
sign.
dream. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And enjoyed that. Heather's his secretary, or not secretary, I don't mean that, but works with him now.
Does she?
Yeah. She was in the office.
Okay.
And they're still together. They showed the personal life. They went into counseling, and she has the ring back on too, by the way,
Yeah.
which was interesting.
In
Just
Flagg,
no date, nothing
he's
else.
still in the Four Seasons.
Oh yeah, he had moved into the Four Seasons when Edith died, right?
Yeah.
And just seems like he hadn't been able to get himself out of there. And
I'm going to read the show description. The title of this episode was Seller's Dream, Agent's Nightmare. And it says the four brokers are back, tackling the real estate market that's transformed into the seller's paradise. After the loss of his beloved grandmother, Josh is determined to stay on top, vying for an $8 million listing from a long-lost high school friend. I want to talk about that guy, the dentist. What was his name?
was it Sherwin?
Yeah, he looks like a Sherwin.
He was a dentist.
Sherman?
I think it's Sherwin.
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 It looks like both of them.
Yeah, it was Sherwin. That's
Yeah,
what
he
it was.
looks like straight
He
out
was
of a
a
comic book.
Persian guy.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. Okay, and it says Josh Altman promises a busy young millionaire that he'll find in the perfect house in one day.
Yeah.
British transplants James Harris and David Parnes get creative to sell a $5.7 million home.
Yeah, they did good on that.
What a cool property.
That was neat. I liked what
And-
they did too. I liked it.
Yeah, so let's talk about James and David first. I'm glad they're back. And so they start this episode, and they're doing a photo shoot in this house. They just have the idea of, do you think the guy's interested in selling this property? That's how it started. And then they contacted the seller through some, how did they figure out how to contact?
Well, the photographer said
Is that what
this
it was?
guy got the house from this guy and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so that guy put him in touch. The guy's just willing to sell the house just like that?
Well, I'm thinking the house was empty. It was just an investment for somebody.
You think so?
And that's how it kind of came about. And I think the guy's like, if you can get me the money, I'll sell it. That kind of thing. That's what it sounded like.
okay.
Remember he was talking to him in his backyard when he was playing with his kids?
So maybe it was that real.
I think it could have been, yeah.
Just
I think
looked
it could have
really.
been.
You think the guy wants to sell his house? Oh, I'm sure he does.
Well, hey, hadn't you ever heard of the scenario where somebody's trying to sell a house to somebody and you're riding through the neighborhood, nothing's for sale,
Yeah.
and you go up to the door and they say, "My clients love your house. Would you be willing to sell it? For what price?" It's like they say, everything's for sale for a price.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
all the time.
you got to look at it that way. And these guys that own this big property, they're all investors. So they're always up for doing something like that, I would think.
So they listed it at 575. The guy wanted 6, right?
I believe he said 6, yeah.
Yeah, and so they listed at 575. They have a nice open house.
That was awesome.
What are they providing dinner for?
Well, it was not really an open house. What they did is they targeted specific
That's right.
people
Yeah.
to have dinner so that it could be intimate. They could see the house, particular buyers.
That's right.
And I thought it was a great idea because he only gave him 30 days on it, remember?
Yeah, right.
And
now, how does Josh Altman just show up randomly?
Because he's showing that guy property.
But he was uninvited.
Well, I don't really know how he knew about.
Right.
They never said, did they?
No.
They never said.
Maybe.
And
maybe I missed that.
So I don't remember hearing it, but he.
But gosh, what is worse than having Josh Altman and this guy show up for a dinner table? Meal.
He is beginning to be annoying. I really didn't care for him that much last season.
Let's talk about that.
I don't like him.
He started playing this character. He was not like this when he first got on the show.
He's always been a little antagonistic.
A little bit.
Arrogant.
But he started this heel character kind of playing the bad guy for the past few years. But
he got in the big head when he got engaged and started planning the wedding without her. Remember that?
Yeah, now he's bought into the character. Maybe,
I don't like him.
Maybe it's no longer a character. Maybe it is who he is.
Okay, he needs to settle down because he is not fun to watch anymore. I don't like his attitude. I don't like... And I've always taken up for Josh. I've always, wanted to take up for him, but Heather needs to run the other direction. I gave him a pass last season. Oh, she does. She needs to run.
Really?
I'm going to tell you, he is so full of himself. He is not going to get over himself. He is all about selling. He is all about this TV stuff. He is not ever going to be. He can go to all the counseling he wants to go to. It's not going to change him.
What is he chasing?
I'm not really sure. I think it's... I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't want to... He voices on the show he doesn't want to, get rid of Heather. She's the best thing that's ever happened to him, but he's not willing to put the time in it. Just like they showed some previews of, he said, I don't want kids or whatever. And she said, I thought you did. And he said, I don't have time for them. Okay, there's a big red flag.
Yeah.
I mean, he's putting words to it, but he's not doing it. And she just needs to go somewhere else. This guy's never going to be who she wants. And I think that's my opinion. And I think unless he turns into a different person, which he's not going to. I mean, they've been through counseling. He's showing his arrogance again this season. He's been real ugly
but
to
do you
other
think
realtors.
That's real?
I hope not. Because I hate to think anybody acts that way, honestly. But to go to an open house, not an open house, but their dinner and just sabotage it like he did, pulling out a comp like they didn't know.
Oh.
It was just the rudest thing I've ever seen. Oh. Rude. And I don't have any patience with that. So let's talk about it.
So what happens? They're sitting around the dinner table. Mm-hmm. And of course, James and David are selling this property, these guys. They've got one, let's see, is it Nima? Mm-hmm. They've got Josh's guy and maybe like one more person that's interested in the house sitting around the table. Mm-hmm. And Josh starts saying the property is not worth this. Yeah. In front of these people.
That's not
And
right.
Just starts devaluing the property. He pulls out a sheet with comps and says, you need to know your stuff. You don't know your stuff.
That's not right. That's just not
right. I hope it was set up because if it wasn't, that is just a horrible way to treat James and David.
That was just ugly. Was just ugly.
James and David are really trying to have a working relationship with Josh.
Yeah.
And he's not letting it happen.
No. He's the rudest thing I've ever seen.
And I just wonder if he's really kind of grown into that character and now it is him. It's taken over. Because the way he even talks to Heather's a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah, I think so too. I just don't.
I think he
thinks too much of himself.
Well, I think that, and I think he's overwhelmed by work. I think he's got way too much going on.
Well, they showed some previews down the road, and Madison was talking to James, and he said, it must be hard to wake up with a heartless soul every morning, which is true. And see, Madison was always very gentle, very sweet, nice guy. Didn't like to argue all the time. And I guarantee you they're talking about Josh Altman. And whether they have had him develop this character for this season, it looks like the others are going to get together and try to, go against him.
Yeah.
But that was the rudest thing I've ever seen. You don't do business that way. You just don't.
No.
You don't. You have a genuine respect. You might not like each other, but you have a genuine respect for each other. You don't go in and sabotage what they're doing. You just don't. So I don't know if it's real or not, but I didn't like it. Josh, don't like the way you're acting. Don't care for you. And I don't like this, the way it's going. I like to watch real estate deals. I like to watch the honest stuff. Yes, you're going to be disagreements, but you don't do things on purpose like that.
He looks to me like he does not enjoy the business. I mean, he lets the quantity...
It's like he'd rather argue.
Well,
he argues about everything.
It looks like he's just lost the passion for the business. I mean, it's like he's more interested in the being number one than he is
how quick
the
you
business.
make the money.
Yeah, how quick. It's a numbers game,
Yeah.
and it's no longer a passion. And I guess that happens in some business. But if I have to choose one of these groups to be, if I have to be one of these guys, that you've got to have everything in moderation.
Exactly.
It's like a pace of
a
business.
balance.
It's like Madison. You don't see him running around everywhere, overwhelmed, and he works at a pace that's comfortable, but that's not overwhelming, and it's not lazy.
That's right.
And it's right there in the middle. Josh Flagg could be less than the middle,
Yeah.
but he's not overwhelmed. And if there's somebody I have to beat, James and David, I think they've nailed it. I mean,
Me too.
they have the family time. They are still doing big business. They work hard, but they don't get overwhelmed, and they don't pick fights.
Right.
And they're not obsessed with being number one.
No.
You just want to do well.
That's exactly
and
right.
You keep the passion for the business. And I think that's something Altman's taken his eye off of.
I think he has too. I think you're right. And whether they have set this up for the season, for it to be that way or not, I wish they wouldn't. I wish it would be more. I hope it's real. I mean, I like to watch it because I like to watch the real transactions and see how they work with each other. But I don't like the deliberate. No, I don't care for that. I don't like that.
Man, that was tough.
I don't want to go off on that.
I mean, that's one of the most
I'll
brutal...
quit watching if they keep doing that.
In all the series, that's one of the most brutal things.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
that's
ugly. That was the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Attacking
So-
somebody in front of their people.
Yeah, that was
Just unbelievable.
That's not
Let's talk about Josh Flagg, though.
what you're supposed to do.
Josh Flagg, still living in the Four Seasons. He's been there for a year. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure he loves every bit about the Four Seasons.
He said he likes it.
Everything's done for you.
Yeah, he likes it.
And are they married?
I don't know. I know that Colton was ordering cheeseburgers for the dog.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
true.
don't know if they're married or not.
Yeah.
And a Belgian waffle.
They have other things to worry about.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been together a long time.
I can't remember, but anyways, I don't know why they wanted to move out of their house and go to the Four Seasons unless he just didn't want to take care of things, which is understandable.
Yeah, that's true.
He has been contacted by somebody supposedly he went to high school with. He doesn't remember the guy, and it's a group of people he went to high school with, and he doesn't remember any of the guys.
It's kind of hard to believe.
Which is strange. It's the
Yeah,
weirdest
that's
thing.
weird,
But the
huh?
guy's a dentist.
Strange.
He's got a dental spa, and the guy's got an $8 million listing.
Yeah.
So he's doing well.
Yeah,
Maybe more than one location for his dental spa.
maybe so.
But he just totally doesn't remember anybody, and he shows up to the listing, and it's very awkward. What were your thoughts about that whole exchange?
Yeah, it was different. It was kind of like they ambushed him a little bit.
This is the way I felt
I didn't
because-
really like that, but he did know he knew he had done was number one agent, I guess, or whatever. Had sold a lot of real estate, so he respected that, knew his name. I don't know. At first, I didn't like the fact they brought him in and said, this other lady has a lot of heart, and I want to co-list with you or whatever.
terrible.
But when you get down to it, it's like Josh said, I'd rather have half the pie than none. I came up here. I don't want to waste my time. So, and it worked out good for him. Gee whiz, he co-listed with this lady. They came to a conclusion on the price. The woman got a full price offer in the first week. I mean, that's a great co-lister. He didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, it was great. That's the first time I've seen that happen on one of these
Yeah.
series.
I mean, that was really good for that house.
Yeah.
But he was right at the beginning. He said a Persian family will buy this house like it is. She said no. Somebody's gonna come in and change everything out because it was very specific to that ethnicity.
Right.
So, but a family did come, and wanted him out in 15 days.
I'm going to tell you this.
So it was interesting.
I like Josh Flagg's attitude a little bit.
Yeah, I do too. He tells you like it is, doesn't he?
He's honest.
Yeah.
He's not very emotionally
Right.
involved with
Right.
business. I mean, he keeps
It's like
emotion.
cut and dried,
It
yeah.
is very cut and dried, which I like. And if I haven't said he's very honest, he is. But
Seems like it.
he doesn't have to fight for the listing, is what my point is, because he's well off. He's not doing it for a living. I mean, he could live the rest of his life.
He's
and
not
be
trying
fine.
to be number one.
That's right.
not
He
why
doesn't
he
care about
sells it.
being number one. It's like when he showed up at the property for this listing, he doesn't. When he shows up, he's got, in his mind, he's got the listing, and he
Right.
should, rightfully
Right.
so. For those guys to say we're having other people through the door, da da da, he doesn't care. You know, don't call me and waste his time if you're not going to give him the listing. Don't have Josh come up there for dinner and say, "Well, we haven't decided on you yet." Mm-hmm. Well, I would just walk out if I was Josh Flagg. You know what I mean? I'm on TV.
No, because you get, it's like he said, you won't have the pie if you can't
Sure,
get the whole pie.
but it's very disrespectful because they should know Josh's position. He doesn't have to apply for a position at this point. What do you think about that? Am I wrong?
Well, there could be a lot of things we don't see. Okay, first thing, Josh didn't even remember him, supposedly. Okay, it could have been the guy didn't like him in high school. I don't know. I don't know what kind of relationship he had with any of those guys. And then, the first thing he said was, "I didn't recognize you." And that we didn't know. He showed an old picture of himself and said he had a chin implant and he had his ears pinned back and he had laser surgery every week is what he said. I don't know what that means, but anyway, he's done all that. But I just kind of, I don't know. I think a little bit of that was for television, honestly.
Well, I would
that maybe
say
they
about
went before
everything,
and
but
said,
let's assume it's not.
well, I mean, it could have been a little animosity from high school, and I'm a dentist now, and I've got this listing, and I can dangle it in your face, and I can make you work for it. It could have been some of that. You don't know. I mean, we don't know any backstory. Of course, all we know is what Josh said, and he said, "I don't remember him. I don't remember any of them."
Well, I think
that's
it's
hard to believe
I think
to
it's
me.
great when Josh says, "I mean, nobody else is going to do as good a job as me." He's just
Yeah, and I
honest.
understand that, and
He doesn't even
he
have to,
will. He
doesn't
knows that
have to
area.
sell himself, which
No.
I like. Just tell the guy,
No.
"Hey, if you want me, you want me. If you don't, you don't. I mean, I'm number one in this area." So,
But you know what? He represented the way you work with another realtor, though, to me. That's it. You go in there. It's not your favorite thing to do. And she said it. She said either one of us could handle this listing on our own. This guy's got this thing in his head.
I don't know the circumstances.
So let's go
but
with it, But they work together well. I mean, you think about that. Josh didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know.
He co-listed with her. She took the person in there, bought it that first week. He gets half the commission.
Well, they closed on that property, didn't they? They
So,
closed
I mean,
the deal.
he didn't spend any time. So, I mean, to say I got half the pie going and eating dinner with the guy, it's worth it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even though the guy didn't take him full,
They
on
had
the
the
listing.
house sold in a week.
Yeah.
A week he makes.
Yeah.
What is it, 100?
And it happens that way sometimes. What was that listing for? I forgot.
It's $8 million.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gee, Manetti.
Yeah.
So 6% of that. What is it? I can't
Well,
even
they
think.
split
I don't
it,
have a
so
thing.
3.
Yeah. So but still.
Yeah.
That's a lot for doing nothing.
Yeah,
They didn't do any open houses. They did nothing.
Nothing.
So
They
no
put it on
investment in that
Put
one,
it on
see?
the MLS,
Yeah.
and your co-lister
That's it.
finds a buyer.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that is. You get them that way sometimes.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose
He
some.
gets them quite a bit. I'm gonna tell you.
But, it's funny because when we were watching Andy Cohen the other day, watch what happens after the show, they were showing that. And they did that poll. He always does that poll on who would you want to sell your house. And Josh Flagg was hands down the one, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
I bet Josh Altman was sick.
Yeah.
Of course, he started laughing and said, "This is the first time I've never been last."
Right.
And, but does that not tell him something? He may sell well, but people don't like his style.
Yeah.
And, Josh Flagg did say
Well,
something about,
I
I'm
don't know.
honest.
Think about this though. It's like the WWE. People that play the heel character, they get pulled. I mean, nobody likes them.
Yeah. But still, Josh Flagg said, "I just tell you the truth, And I think he's right, because what impressed me was when he was sitting talking to the co-lister, Jeeb, I think was her name. He said, she said, "Well, somebody's going to come in and take everything out, so we're going to price it lower." She was down at, 7.5, and he wanted 8.5, something like that. So they settled in the middle. But he said, "Well, let me tell you this. Somebody comes in and they buy it for 7.5, say. They go in and they put $4 or $5 million in it, or whatever it's going to take to fix it up or whatever." He mentioned they would be up to like almost 12 $12 million, which you've overpriced it for the neighborhood, and so there you go.
Yeah.
See, that made sense to me. That's the way I look at real estate.
Yeah.
I look at it down the road. If you're going to improve it, are you going to be able to get your money back? And she looked at him and said, "You're right."
Yeah.
So there you go. You gotta look at it that way.
Well, I think Josh is impressive, Josh Flagg.
Yeah, he did impress me this week.
And
He
I
did.
think it's funny how Altman says you don't wake up till noon, but hey, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
If you're doing the business,
Yeah.
and which 150 million in a year, waking up at noon is not a
Yeah.
bad deal.
Well, Josh was lucky that he had his mom.
That's right.
And I mean his grandmother
Put him in business.
put him in business and to mentor him. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Well, one thing that these other guys share, except Altman, is a passion for the business. I think they do all still love real estate. It's fun. And I'm glad they still have that. Altman, I think, loses sight. Don't you think?
I think he's left. Yeah, I think he's lost.
He's more
sight of-
concerned about the numbers.
Yeah, being number one.
Yeah.
I think that's his big
It's
thing.
it's an ego thing.
Yeah, I think it is an ego, and
not
I
a-
think that's why I said Heather needs to go the other way. It's not going to work out with
Well,
him.
it's definitely. He
It's
didn't
just
used to
not.
be that bad. He's definitely turned it up this season.
I noticed Matt never says a word.
Where is Matt?
Matt was sitting at the table
He
in one
was.
of those episodes, but he didn't say a word. It's like
Yep.
he said, "Don't put me on the camera."
Interesting.
Yeah, it's always him. Of course, they're not Altman brothers anymore, but still, it was just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, that listing he got up there, Elton John lived across the street,
Yeah,
which
how
is kind
cool
of
is that?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was neat, wasn't it?
That is neat.
So anyway, sold that one, which was great. It was a good show, real
Yeah,
good show.
It was.
I really enjoyed it, and except for that thing that Josh Altman did, I didn't care for that.
Yeah, it was tough, man.
And I wish, I really do wish the guys would. I don't see any point in retaliation, going to one of his and doing that kind of stuff, but they need to step up when he's involved and stand their ground more. I mean, it's hard to believe anybody would even act like Josh Altman. It's awful. And I saw a future episode where that guy he took to that dinner party, Rob, who had sold the marketing company, and was looking for a house.
Yeah.
He said, "You know what? It looks like the Brits could sell me a house."
Ooh.
Yeah. So he saw how ugly that was too, evidently, because
Yeah.
there was some comment made there. So
Yeah.
I think, and it's interesting too. In the previews I saw that Josh was talking about to Colton moving in Edith's house,
Yeah.
and that would be tough to go in there and take all her stuff out, and that'd be hard. I don't know if he can handle that. But and then Madison was back in one of the episodes, which is going to be interesting to see.
Yep. And they all did talk highly of Madison.
Well, I think he's always been really nice to all of them. Think about it, in all
like
his
Madison.
transactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kept his cool. He did.
And let's not forget Chad Rogers.
Well, Chad.
Just have a moment of
Yeah,
silence.
I think you're in love. You have a man crush on him.
Chad Rogers,
I think you
he's-
need to contact him and say, do a spot on the show.
We chatted on Twitter, and we talked about working out. We talked about supplements. It was great. Chad's a good guy.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. He needs to do a spot on there like Madison does. Come back just once in a while.
I
But-
think he had a falling out with the show.
I thought it was interesting. I'm going back to the dinner party because I was just enthralled with that. I thought it was a great idea.
Nope. Back it
I'm
up.
sorry. And James, walked out on the balcony with Josh and said, "Please don't mess this up for us," and of course he did. But it's just I don't know. That was just impressive that James and David did that. That was a cool dinner. It was neat.
What
it
a
was
cool thing.
professional.
Yeah.
And then to see Josh Altman come in there just made me sick.
Yeah.
So Josh, we don't like you this week.
Well,
so
it may backfire. We'll see.
yeah, we'll see how he's going to turn out. But Heather, run. He is not
I don't
worth
think
it.
she's going anywhere.
He is not worth it. I don't know what you see in him. I don't
think
know
she's going
why you want to
anywhere.
hang around him. He
I
is
think she-
egotistical.
I think she liked Madison. Even Madison couldn't decide which
I think so
sexuality he
too.
was.
Yeah, I know. I think they would have been better together.
They seem more
She's
like
low
each
key.
other.
She wants a life. She's not interested in business all the
I
time.
may be totally wrong about that though, but
No, I think she's more that way. I think
picked
she's
up on some chemistry.
kind of gotten sucked into this guy.
Yeah.
And but I thought it was funny they got a new dog. His name was Tom Brady.
Yeah, that was funny. And thank goodness they're not married yet because they're trying to work this out. That's good. I'm glad she didn't screw that up.
Yeah, I think she needs to back off, though. She's wearing the ring again. I think she needs to take it off.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, hang it over his head.
Stay tuned.
Hang it over his head.
Well, that was a good season premiere, and I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Hey, did you ever heard of Farsi?
The language?
Yeah.
I'd heard of it.
I'd never heard of that. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
They call that area their little Tehran. Like Tehran. Tehran, I guess is the way you say it.
Yeah.
But it was funny how I looked it up and it said it was a language spoken in Iran.
Well, it's the Persian language, you know.
Yeah. But it's funny because they taught it in their Beverly Hills High School there. He said, thank you, Beverly Hills High School, for teaching me that. Why would you teach?
That's interesting.
Yeah, Persian language. Isn't that weird? But I thought that was kind of interesting. You know, when he had the open house there, you know, the women were there, and he went over and talked to them in Farsi.
Yeah, I love that. That's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, too. I mean, we learn a lot on these shows, you know?
I mean,
I've never heard of Farsi.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to...
all I knew was a Persian language. I didn't
yeah,
expect
to
Beverly
hear
Hills
that
High
kind
School.
of thing, but...
You imagine going to Beverly Hills High School? I wonder what that's like.
No. No, I can't imagine. I wonder how much he went, because he didn't remember this guy at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to me. I remember everybody in high school.
That's funny.
May not want to see them, but I do remember them.
Sure.
So, you know.
You got it. That's funny.
I do get it, but loved it. This is great first episode.
Are you looking
Loved
forward to
it.
episode 2?
Yes, I am.
Episode 2, let's see what it's saying about episode 2. It's saying...
Yeah, because they did the overall previews. So let's see what's happening next
Dinner
one.
party disaster.
Oh.
James and David exclusive dinner party takes an explosive turn. They have it out on the rooftop.
Ooh.
The Brits partnership hits turbulent waters as the deadline on their listing looms.
Oh.
Altman's search for the perfect house for a hard-to-please client continues. The client's patience is wearing thin. And Flagg convinces boyfriend, Colton, that answers our questions, they're not married.
Okay.
It's time to move on from their Sunset Strip home and reap a profit in the process. Yeah.
Sunset Strip. Are they renting it?
Well, Flagg, you remember he bought that property. He did some upgrades, put it in the pit in the back, and he was going to flip it because he could make $2 million bucks on it.
Yeah, that's right.
And so now he's trying to convince Colton, let's go ahead and cash in.
So sell it?
Yeah.
Oh, not
Sell
live
it,
in it.
yeah,
Just sell it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What does Colton do? What did we find out? He's an interior decorator.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's got his own life too, I guess.
I like James and David. They're cool. I'm looking at
I
the
do
picture.
too, and I hope it's not gonna. Oh, one of the episodes said
I saw that.
said something about, are you drinking again?
That is tough.
And he had said at the beginning he had a drinking problem and he handled it. But if Josh Altman pushes him to do that, I will personally fly out there and punch him in the face.
Oh, boy.
Because that is not.
Well, Flagg's already done it one time. He slapped him.
Well, I might have to just jump out of the car and punch him in the face and leave. Because I just don't, he's not going to do that to my Brits.
Wow.
Not going to do it.
Watch out.
Yep, that's right.
All right, that's
will
it. We
show
got to
up.
end it.
Yep.
She's going to punch him. Let's go to the MacMediaShow.com. This will be on that. And the interview is what I wanted to tell you is on the MacMediaShow.com with James and David. It's the very first post down there at the bottom. You can watch that.
I think our mantra needs to be run, Heather, run.
Oh, wow. She's going. I'm telling you right now, I put money down. She is not leaving.
Why would she hang around
She
that
is
animal?
not leaving.
There's not too many redeeming qualities about him to me.
Man.
Except, I guess he smells good. He looks like he cleans up well. You know,
are out for blood.
I don't like him. Don't like him. Josh, don't like you. Sorry. And I was on your side for a long time.
Watch out.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it unfolds.
Wow. Well, go join us. The MacMediaShow.com. There's almost 35,000 people there on Twitter at the Mac Media Show. And we will see you for episode 2, Dinner Party Disaster.
We will see you on the podcast.
Have a great week.